Tea, especially this time of year, is a very refreshing drink. It hydrates you. And for me, it invigorates me because I am a Coke addict, not the kind you think you put up your nose. I'm a Coca-Cola addict, and I come from a long range of Coke addicts. My mother's a Coke addict, my grandmother's a Coke addict. So as I get older and as I get more health conscious, I had to find something that was going to be a substitution for Coke. And I found it in tea. I like to call it my methadone. Anyway, so what tea is, it is a wonderful drink that is made from tea leaves. And basically it's put into hot boiling water. And it provides nourishment. It is also used as a beauty regimen. And it also can be used for medicinal purposes. Now, you guys are wondering, where is the mystery of tea? Where did it come from? How did it come to play? And I will tell you, it happened originally in 2737 BCE. And it happened during the Shennong dynasty in China. And this Chinese emperor was a healer and a herbalist. And so he really was into making sure that his body was healthy and clean. In fact, he used to have his servants boil his water because he wanted to make sure the water was pure. So when he was off in the far region of China, he was with his army, he had his servants boil him some water, which they normally did. And they boiled the water, they put it in a pot, and they put it under a wild tea leaf tree. And the dry tea leaf fell into the water, and it formed a brown substance. Well, the servants were paying attention, and Shennong wasn't paying attention, and he drank the brown water. And he found it very refreshing. So that's how tea started to come into play in society. Now, tea through the centuries, starting with the 3rd century of the, and I'm probably pronouncing this wrong, Zhang dynasty, was used infusing tea leaves. They started infusing tea leaves, and what I mean by infusing tea leaves, they started drying the tea leaves and infusing it for medicinal purposes, like for an upset stomach, for headaches, etc. It wasn't until the Han Dynasty, which the Han Dynasty is very interesting because it was the start of the Silk Road. The Silk Road is where China was also known for their silk products. And the Silk Road started from China, and it went through what we call the territory of Eurasia, which today would be Russia, parts of Iran, all the way to Constantinople, which is now known as modern-day Turkey, okay? So that's how tea got spread out to the rest of the world. And then from there, it went on to Europe. And of course, you know, the British cannot do without their daily cup of tea, and they always have a pot on the boil. There was another dynasty past the Han Dynasty. It was the Tang Dynasty. And that's when they stopped using tea from medicinal purposes till they started using tea for social purposes, like parties, social gatherings, other religious rituals. So that's how tea kind of got into play where we know it today. Let's have a cup of tea at the pool party. Let's have a cup of tea on, even though it doesn't happen here in Arizona, on a cold night. And we want to have a hot tea, as Jaime says, of Earl Grey. So from there, tea kind of spread out even further. And there are what you call 63 species of tea that contain caffeine around the world. And there's 3 types of well-known tea. There's white, or what we call oolong tea, and it's picked early. And basically, it's when the bushes kind of have these little needles that come out of them, and the people in the tea plantations prick them early, and they resemble little silver needles, and they're basically compressed into a cake form, and then set out to dry for a little bit of time. Now, how you get the white tea is that after it's dried for a little bit of time, you take hot water and cover it, which you call steeping. And you usually do the steeping for about, I would say, 3 to 5 minutes. And that's how you produce white tea. Black tea, on the other hand, is basically fermented. Fermentation is not what you think. It's basically, it's laid out to dry and there's an oxidation, and the tea leaves actually turn to black. And therefore, the tea, you add, the way you make the tea is that you put it into a tea bag, and then you use it to make your tea. Green tea, on the other hand, is kind of like basically like a combination of the two. It's more, you take the tea leaves and you pour the hot water on it, and then you basically have your tea. In Asian populations and other populations around the world, if you want to know how they have good heart health, they have good weight loss, is that they drink, in Mediterranean cultures and in most Asian cultures, they drink at least 3 cups of tea a day, and it helps with your heart and your digestive purposes. Also, when you think of tea, herbal teas are not really a tea. They're basically, teas are basically, they come from the traditional tea leaf, and they are, and herbal teas are basically made from infusions of leaves, bark, seeds, or flowers. What we can use for tea is revitalization, which is tea bags soaked under warm water, and then you put them over your closed eyes, and it'll take away the puffiness. Another way to use tea bags is for soothing care. When you get a sunburn, you wet your tea bags, you put them on the sunburn. It helps soothe for inflammation and burns. And it also is used, you guys can use it for razor cuts. So that's a little information. Also, hair. When you take a freshly brewed tea and you pour it on your scalp, well, cool it down first. I'm not going to say pour hot tea on your head. And use it after you shampoo. It can be used as a conditioner. And then if you also want to get rid of stinky feet, you take peppermint tea and you put it in a foot bath and let your feet soak for a while. There's the 5 major producers of tea are Kenya, China, Sri Lanka, India, and Vietnam. So I would like to share with you my love of tea. I will give you guys a little sample of a green mango tea, and it's from India. And thank you for your time.